Hello. So I'll be reading Dalrymple's The Age of Kali book. Um, it's basically a book on William Dalrymple's Indian encounters. It's his Indian travels and encounters and all of that. So what he has done is he has sections, and he has divided his whole trip into six basic sections, being the North India, and then there's his one segment which he has classified as about Rajasthan, and then there's the New India, and then the fourth one being the South, fifth one being on the Indian Ocean, and sixth one being Pakistan. There is another segment, I'm not sure where he's added it, wherein he's had Sri Lanka also. He might have added it somewhere in between. I'm not sure where he's done that. Karachi. Oh yeah, the last part in the fifth segment is at Sri Lanka. Never mind. So I'm gonna read it, beginning with the introduction. So the Age of Kali is a collection of peripatetic essays. Peripatetic? Pathetic, yes. A distillation of 10 years' travel around the Indian subcontinent. For 6 of those years, I was based in Delhi working on my second book, The City of Jinns. While for the other 4, I wandered the region on a more nomadic basis. For a few months each year, my travels took me from the fortress of Durg, barrens of the northwest frontier, to the jungle lairs of Tamil tigers, from flashy Bombay drink parties to murderous Bihar blood feuds, from decaying palaces of Lucknow to the Kerala exorcist temple of the bloodthirsty goddess Parashakti, she who is seated on the throne of 5 corpses. All pieces are the product of direct personal experience and direct observation. The book's title is a reference to the concept in ancient Hindu cosmology that time is divided into 4 great epochs. Each age or yug is named after one of the 4 throws, from the best to the worst in a traditional Indian game of dice. According to each successive age, it represents a period of increasing morale and social deterioration. The ancient mythological Golden Age, named after the highest throw of the dice, is known as Krita Yuga, or the Age of Perfection, as I was told again and again on my travel tours. Around the subcontinent, India is now in the throes of Kali Yuga, the Age of Kali, the lowest possible throw, an epoch of strife, corruption, darkness, and disintegration. In the Age of Kali, the great gods Vishnu and Shiva are asleep and do not hear the prayers of devotees. In such an age, normal conventions fall apart, anything is possible. As the 7th century Vishnu Puranas puts it, the kings of Kali will be addicted to corruption and will seize the property of their subjects, but will for then the most part be limited of power, rising and falling rapidly, and wealth alone will confer rank. Falsehood will be the only means of success in litigation. Corruption will be the universal means of subsistence. At the end, unable to support their avaricious kings, the people of Kali Kali age will take refuge in the charms between mountains. They will wear ragged garments and they will have too many children. Thus, in Kali age, shall strife and decay constantly proceed until the human race approaches annihilation. In my travels in North India and Pakistan, there were more moments when it seemed as if Kali Yuga really was upon us. In the bandit infested badlands of the North Lahore, in Bihar, and in parts of eastern Uttar Pradesh, I found an ancient landscape overwhelmed by rapid change, where the old certainties and ancient social order had been swept away, but where the new order had yet to establish itself. In Lucknow, I witnessed a war being fought between rival wings of the student union, where each side was armed with grenades and assault rifles. In neighboring Bihar, it seemed as if the state had finally succumbed to the tidal wave of violence, corruption, and endemic caste warfare that had engulfed it. Indeed, things were so bad that the criminals and the politicians of the state were said to be virtually interchangeable, and the government had pretty well given up any pretense of providing water, electricity, or even a semblance of security. The state had given away, and Bihar now seemed to be approachingly a situation of pure anarchy. According to the Puranas, Kali Yuga is the last age before the world is destroyed by the fire of 1,000 suns, after which the cycle reaches its conclusion and time momentarily stops, before the wheel turns again and a new cycle begins. Rather ominously, the very week I decided on the age of Kali as the title for this book. Atal Bihari Vajpayee, India's first BJP Prime Minister, let off his Hindu nuclear bomb at Pokhran, which is in Rajasthan, in some in India have seen a sign that Kali Yuga is now approaching its apocalyptic climax. Following the blast, as ecstatic crowds fill the streets to celebrate, and as some BJP activists set about trying to build a Hindu Shakti temple on the site of explosion, several Indian papers quoted the lines from Gita uttered by Robert Oppenheimer as he witnessed the first nuclear explosion at Alamogordo in 1945, which is, quote unquote, if the radiance of 1,000 suns were to burst at once in the sky, that would be like the splendor of the mighty one. I am become death, the shatterer of worlds. Yet for all this, India has consistently defied those who make prophecies of doom. For her, and sure enough, outside Pakistan and Ganges Basin, in parts of Deccan and southern India, as I saw the world where the notions of Kali Yuga seem to have a little relevance. In the far south and west of the country, despite occasional political upheavals in Tamil Nadu, there was a quiet but growing prosperity and stability that defied the grim predictions of imminent apocalypse being made in Patna and Lucknow. The great question for India now, it seems to me, is whether the prosperity of the south and the west of the country can outweigh the disorder and decay which is spreading out from Bihar and the north. This book covers so many sensitive areas that is bound to raise a few cries of protest and dissent, particularly from Indians understandably touchy about criticism from abroad. But it is a work of love. It's a subject It's an area of the world I revere like no other, and in which I have chosen to spend most of my time since I was free to make that choice. From my first visit to the region as an 18-year-old backpacker, I was completely overwhelmed. India thrilled, surprised, and daunted and excited me. Since then, it has never ceased to amaze, and I hope that ceaseless power to delight and astonish, if nothing else, is conveyed by this book. And now we begin with the first chapter. Oh no, this is the author say about it. Over the course of the last decade, I have fallen into the debt of many friends across the length and breadth of the subcontinent. There are, after all, few areas where people are so ready to open their house to the weary and confused traveler. I'd like to thank the following, all of whom provided invaluable aid, advice, and hospitality: Javed Abdullah, and it's a long list of names. Do I have to read this? I doubt. Let's go ahead. I'd like to give a particular thanks to Sanjeev Srivastava, who accompanied me on all the Rajasthan stories and provided me brilliant insights into the life of the state. Arvind Das gave me invaluable help with the Bihar story. It's quite a long list of names again. It's just names and names over and over again. So let's skip this part. And we move to the first segment, that is the North. The Age of Kali, that is. And this is about Patna in 1997. On the night of 13th February 1992, 200 armed touchables surrounded the high caste village of the Bara in the northern Indian state of Bihar. By the light of burning splints, the raiders roused all the men from their beds and marched them out into the fields. Then, one after another, they slit their throats with rusty harvesting sickle. Few of my Delhi friends were surprised when I pointed out the brief press report of the massacre. Buried somewhere in the middle of the pages of the Indian Express, it was the sort of a thing that was always happening in Bihar, they said. 2000 years ago, it was under a bo tree near the Bihari capital of Patna that the Buddha had received his enlightenment. That, however, was probably the last bit of good news that came out of the state. These days, Bihar was so much more famous for its violence, corruption, and endemic caste warfare. Indeed, things were now so bad that the criminals and politicians of the state were said to be virtually interchangeable. No fewer than 33 of Bihar's State Assembly MLAs had criminal records, and a figure like Dular Chand Yadav, who had cases of dacoity and 50 murder cases pending against him, could also be addressed as the Honorable Member for Bara. Two stories I had first noticed in the news briefs of the Indian press give an idea of seriousness of the crisis in the state. The first of the tale of everyday life on the Bihar railways. One morning in October 1996, the Rajdhani Express from New Delhi to Kolkata made an unscheduled stop at Gomo, which is in Jharkhand in Jamshedpur. Stop at Gomo, a small station in southern Bihar. Mumtaz Ansari, the local member of parliament, got into the first class compartment. With him were 3 security guards. Neither Ansari nor his henchmen had tickets, but they nevertheless stuffed out their seats, 4 passengers with reservations. When one of them, a retired government official, had the temerity to protest at his eviction, Ansari answered that it was he who made the laws and he had the right to break them. When the old man continued to protest, MP waved at his hand and ordered the guards